Alrighty, so first of all, we are going to be hearing from some students in the Kimberley, Adam Tooby and Lucy Harrington, followed by our Pilbara students, Cassidy Young and Georgia Masters. From the Goldfields, Selena Tan. From the Southwest, Olivia Holmes, Shreya Dogra, Maddie Haynes, Darcy Slocum and Charlotte Parker. And from the Great Southern, Adi Sharma and Sarah Ablev.
Awesome. Okay. So, do you mind moving to the first slide? There we go. Oh, okay. Cool. So yeah, today I was discussing with my MCs about actually talking on this webinar, and they were saying it won't be too hard for me to sell Broome. I think it's probably one of the better sites, but obviously I will be a bit biased. So just here I've circled kind of where Broome is on the left, but I've also circled a couple of other locations. You can see Derby and Kununurra in black. But the other red sites is where else we get to go. So we get to go up the peninsula to Beagle Bay, down south to Bidjadanga, and then across all the way to Balgo, Mullen, and Villaluna in the Tanami Desert, which is extremely remote. You can also see there, which was mentioned briefly before, there is a bit of crazy weather when you come up here. That was a cyclone that came through, but it actually wasn't too bad. It looks quite crazy and wild, but it was just a little bit of rain in the end. I guess briefly as well why I chose Broome. The Aboriginal health exposure here is quite unmatched. I think it's the best that we get in terms of RCS. And you get a mix of like rural remote medicine and also more specialties, which we move on to here with rotations. So you get a lot of everything because it's a bigger site. You can kind of see what I've been moving through so far. So you get the GP, ONG, surgery, gen med, psych, you get pretty much everything, which is awesome. And it's still rural and remote. So a lot of patients have to come to Broome before they go to Perth, which I think is maybe a little bit of a disadvantage with the smaller sites, is that a lot of their more serious cases might get sent to Perth pretty quick, but because Broome has a lot of resources, we can deal with those cases. I guess we can move on to the next one then as well. I'll try to keep it quick. Yeah, so clinical exposure. Here's two photos of me. We were practicing our plastering, and then that's me in the surgical scrubs before I went in for my first C-section. We also get some pretty cool clinical exposures out here. When I was in Balgo, there was a stab wound to the hand. And then we had to deal with that pretty much ourselves because it's so remote before getting RFDS to take them out of there. But yeah, you get some pretty cool clinical exposures out here. And you're also utilised a lot. Something else about Broome, you're not just in Broome, we also go to Kununurra for a camp. This was actually quite a highlight of the year so far. You can see a lot of stuff that we've done. It was meant to be educational, but I found that it was mostly just exploring. So you can see us going lots of hikes to gorges, having lots of fun with the Kununurra group and the MCs there as well. And we got some really awesome tutorials and teaching there as well. This is also where we did our FOSCE, so your fake OSCE. We also went up to Wyndham for the camp as well. So we got quite a wide variety there. The next slide as well. Balgo, this definitely has to be my highlight of the year so far. You also get to go to Villaluna and Mullen, which are even smaller than Balgo, but you can see there in the photos when I was there, you get some really good community engagement. So that top left photo there was me at the youth centre. I got to meet a lot of the kids there, and then they quickly introduced me to their families, and they were all very welcoming of me in the community. In the bottom left, that's me at the pool. As soon as you jump in the pool, the kids kind of swarm you pretty quick. And you also get to go out to some pretty cool little caves on the right side there. There was a little cave on a very small hole, so you get shown around the landscape as well. But Balgo was very awesome. The clinical exposure was unmatched, like I was saying before. We had that little knife accident there. Then the next slide, I think. Yeah, life outside placement. In Broome, when it's the wet season, it's a bit harder to get out just because it's so hot and humid. But as soon as it hits the dry, you're out camping, fishing, boating, you do so much stuff. The sunsets here are unmatched, like you can see there. You also get the crocodiles here. And that's another cool clinical exposure we've had, is we had a croc accident as well. So a croc bite, which came into the ED, which I didn't personally see, but some of the RCS students saw. So that was pretty cool. And then the last one, the social side of Broome. There's so much social stuff here. They've got literally every sport under the sun. Fair Game, which I'm involved in quite a bit, is like a volunteer organisation you can volunteer with. You can also volunteer with the ambulance service and fireys. And then there's lots of social events as well. So you've got Mardi Gras, but you've also got the Shinju Matsuri Festival and the races as well, which is very big in Broome, and everyone gets around them and they're a whole lot of fun. I'm looking forward to them. I'm going to be going to those ones pretty soon. So yeah, the social side of it is also pretty awesome. So I've joined the squash and run club in particular, and then that photo up kind of on the left there was us playing paddle as well. So yeah, that's the social side, and I think that's all of my slides.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Adam. Appreciate your time. I'll pass over now
Thanks.
to Lucy Harrington, who's in Kununurra. Lucy, can you confirm your microphone, please?
Cool. Can you hear me?
We sure can. Take it away, Lucy.
Perfect. Well, I'm in Kununurra this year. And yeah, you can see it's like one of the more beautiful sites, I would say, if I yeah. And it's a bit of a misconception, I feel like, with a small site that you don't have a lot of good exposure to the specialties. But it's like because we're so remote, the specialties come and visit. So we've had like a great chance to see all the different specialties. However, you like can't choose what you see and when you see it. So yeah, these are also some other photos. I mainly just put photos on these slides because it's really cool. But this was us. We get to fly to some of the remote communities as well and get to see a lot of interesting medicine there. And then this was a day that just like wasn't anything happening in ED. So we started ultrasounding. One of the nurses and one of the doctors like took us through everything. And then the juniors also like have run like one-on-one toots with us. So you do get so much like hands-on medicine. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, you can't choose like what you see when you see it. So you have to be pretty like adaptable in a small site. But again, because there's so few of us, we do get to choose a lot what we learn as well. So if you can like take initiative, it'd be the perfect site for you. Yeah, it's like it's such a fun town to live in, so much social stuff as well. Um, a lot of the past doctors here were RCS students. Yeah, here's more of social stuff. We've been camping, playing footy. Yeah, a lot of the doctors are past RCS students. So you can see that like people love it here and they come back. And it's a super fun town with so much to do. I feel like I'm all over the place, but that's sort of what it's like up here. Very chaotic, very fun, seen a lot of cool stuff. Can't recommend it enough. Yeah, here's more stuff. Fishing, great fishing if you like fishing. Out on the boat, that's a big piece of advice. If you come to Kununurra, make friends with someone with a boat and a four drive and a pool. But yeah, this like us at the pub with the juniors and like you just get to know the hospital staff really well. Lots of doctors with lots of personality, which definitely keeps things interesting. Yeah, great site to come to. Oh, I think that's all I have to say, really. Nina's here. Do you have anything to add?
Hey guys.
Yeah. Oh, and then more challenges, I guess, of remote medicine. There was a week where there was just nothing in the grocery store because the roads were closed. So it's a fun year.
Thanks so much, Lucy. Appreciate your time. We'll now move on to the Pilbara, and we've got Georgia Masters and Cass Young from Karratha. Georgia and Cass, can you hear me?
Hello, yes. Can you hear me?
We sure can. Go for it.
Me and Cass were going to share the presenting, so if she's
All right,
here.
sorry, I'm in. Yeah, so we're both from Karratha. We've got a few things to say about Port Hedland, but this is Karratha special from the two of us. Do you want to take it away, Georgia?
Yeah, so we wanted to kind of just mostly focus on the things that made Karratha different. So we call them Karratha specials. One of the good things is that there's a lot of unique medicine. There's a lot of Aboriginal medicine, which I guess is similar for all of the North sites probably, and a lot of community health. So you're seeing a lot of things that you might not see in a down south site. The hospital's brand new. There's ED, a gen med ward, 4-bed maternity ward, with 2 birthing suites, and then there's surgery, and then there's outpatients. So you've got psych, peds, antenatal, surge, and gynae clinic every single day, and then we get visiting specialists come through as well. So for the more niche things, you do get to see them. They're just on like a rotating roster coming down.
We also have like with the Aboriginal exposure, we get to go out to Roebourne, which is 30 minutes out of town, but there's quite rich Aboriginal history and community sort of involvement there, and you do spend time out at the Aboriginal Health Service there as well, which is like definitely like a unique structure of GP for Aboriginal patients, so just like a unique sort of thing. Other things, I think the community is super duper used to having a really transient population with like minors and things. So everyone's really quick to pick you up. Like you go join footy, you go join like sport, you find like another community sort of avenue. They'll just pick you up, they'll become your friends. Like you'll be at people's houses before you know it, like you'll be out on boats. So it's really easy to like make new friends outside of RCS and also with the other people. It's bloody hot up here. The first few months were somewhat unbearable. We do have a pool though, so that we are the one RCS site with a pool. So you can cool off in that if you do like your pool water around 30 degrees in the sun though. But it's cool now, but in the start of the year it was like a bath. Yeah, boating, camping, fishing. We've been to so many camps, like Karratha's on your doorstep. We've been to Exmouth. We haven't been to Coral Bay yet, but it's on the list. You can see a photo from us. We went to Mardi Gras in Broome. So we met like Lucy from Kununurra and a heap of the Broome people as well. We all caught up. Very cool experience. All those sort of things are just on your doorstep.
Yeah, so some of the Karratha specials that are more social. We've got Lena, our ASO. She's so good. This photo is her son's caught us some fish. So we cooked up on the barbecue and had like a dinner with the JMOs. You get free hospital lunch, which is good. It makes like budgeting a lot easier. And the food is really good and really healthy. And then Pilbara Bakehouse is just like across the road from where our office is. So we go there a lot. It's really good. Yeah.
Good afternoon pick me up when you like can't get through the next tute. Karratha Cats, I think if you have any inkling to play footy, you should get involved. So I'm playing footy at the moment with the Cats, with the girls. And Charlotte was until she tragically tore her ACL in the second game of the season. And then we also have a photo of Christian when he got concussed. So it's not a very good advertisement, but it's such a fun group of people, I promise. It's not all injury and accident. And everyone else is actually strapping for the team. So then they get paid and not injured. So anyway, it's like a really fun part to be involved in. And yeah, query, work or play. So our satellite sites, we have Onzo, which we spend 1 week at, which neither of us have done yet, but I'm going next week. Cute little coastal town, just a different experience. Tom Price has outpatients peds that you can go to. Again, neither of us have gone to that, but 3-day trip to Tom Price if so is your interest. And then Roebourne, we do spend quite a bit of time at with the Aboriginal Health Service and also the old hospital, which you can see in black and white there. It's very spooky, a little bit haunted. I did have a ghost encounter, but don't let that turn you off. It's very cool, very like community feel, wholesome.
And then we've just got a why choose Karratha. So you kind of have the benefits of a small site, but that's also big enough that you don't feel like you're too far from the city. There's 8 students. There's adventure on your doorstep. There's so much boating, camping, fishing, so many things to do, people to sit, people to meet, really welcoming town, and lots of different medicine and Aboriginal and remote medicine, which is hard to find. And if anyone's interested in Port Hedland, it's a really similar town and setup. And it's one of the only sites with a full-time teaching MC who's so good. We're so lucky that he helps us out as well. And Port Hedland also gets to do some RFGS stuff. So that's a big
Which is pretty
Port
cool.
Hedland pro.
Yeah, if you're interested in North, big shout out to Karratha. You should consider it.
Wonderful. Thanks, Cass. Thanks, Georgia. Appreciate your time. We're now going to hear from Selena Tan, who is based in Kalgoorlie. Selena, are you there?
So I'm Selena. I did RCS last year, actually. I think just to start with, I just wanted to say that I was born and raised in Perth. I've never been to the countryside, so RCS was a really big deal for me. And Kalgoorlie was definitely not on my mind when I applied for RCS, and I really hesitated to accept it because kind of like in the middle of nowhere. But I'm so glad that I decided to commit, and I felt like it really helped me develop as a person, but also as a health practitioner as well. And so I just wanted to share my experience through showing you some of the photos. So just a few photos here. So the one on the left was my first day. So my first time meeting a few of these people, and we just clicked instantly, and I felt like I really found some lifelong friends. And even now, even in Perth, I still regularly see a lot of them. And obviously, if you're in Kalgoorlie, you have to see the super pit. And in addition to that, we also had the chance to put on some hard hats and also high-vis vests and check out a mine. So I took this photo because we thought it was really funny, and we were joking about whether we were mining or medical students. And in addition to that, we also got some cultural experiences, and we got to try some of these honey ants, which were very unique, I would say. And a lot of people always ask me about like the learning experience I had in Kalgoorlie. I think similar to what everyone else is saying, it's a very hands-on sort of experience. And within the hospital itself, I was exposed to all the specialties that everyone in Perth was also exposed to. But I got the chance to be very involved, and especially in research settings as well. So I actually got to be involved in multiple CPR needing events. And outside of the hospital, these were just some photos of like examples of what we did in classes. So I think the most prominent one would be the one on the right, where one of the ex-lead coordinators is wearing like a top with like fake breasts so that we could practice breast exams. Otherwise, bottom left is us practicing, what do you call it? Sorry. For like fractures and stuff like that with one of the orthopedic surgeons, which was great. And then if we go to the next slide, sorry, I have a lot of photos. So I think one of the highlights of going to Kalgoorlie and also RCS in general is you get to explore the neighboring regions as well. So these are just photos that I took. So firstly, Jowdy Station was where we did our RCS camp. On the right side of that, I got the opportunity to go to Merredin. So I did 2 weeks of rural GP there as well. Mount Charlotte is one of the local sort of like mountains within Kalgoorlie, and you just see really beautiful sunsets there. And a few of us also did a road trip to Esperance as well, which was great. And the views were so nice, and we got to swim in the beach and stuff like that. And in terms of like the highlights of Kalgoorlie, I would say the best thing about Kalgoorlie is the social life. So we got to attend the Coolgardie Rodeo. In addition to that, also the Kalgoorlie Cup, lots of camping as well, and also campfires, which was amazing for me. And just like the other people were saying, so I think one of the things that everyone does is gets involved in sport. So we actually had 3 resident like champions. And Jasper even made it to the paper because he scored the winning goal, which was amazing. I did a lot of like Pilates and also played a lot of badminton with the junior doctors as well. And just like I said, we got to go on the RCS camp at Jowdy Station. It was a very, very interesting opportunity to explore kind of just like the landscapes of like surrounding areas of Kalgoorlie. And it was great. I would highly recommend. It was really hard. And Kalgoorlie itself is a very hot place. So I think in summer it got up to like 44 degrees, but with like sufficient aircon and things like that, you'll survive it. And I also wanted to say one of the more meaningful things in Kalgoorlie was sort of like the relationships that you form with the JMOs and other doctors as well. So on the left, we regularly went to quiz night with the surgical team, and not once did I not place first when I was with the orthopedic surgeons. And otherwise, this is just us, so me and Adi, another student, along with one of the JMOs, putting nets on one of the doctor's trees. Like we really got involved with the community, which was great. And yeah, I just wanted to say I had a really, really wonderful time. I've made lifelong friends, and I highly recommend going to Kalgoorlie or just going RCS in general. Cool, that's it. Thank you.
Thanks so much, that's Selena. We're now going to hand over to a group of students who are each going to introduce us to different areas of the Southwest. So first of all, we will be having Darcy and Maddie from Busselton, followed by Charlotte for Warren Blackwood, and Shreya and Olivia for Bunbury. There we go.
Okay, hi everyone. We're representing the Southwest with a little bit of the taste of what life is like in Busselton, and it really is like a holiday all year round. There's 3 houses. We're walking distance to the beach and the hospital, which is great when you're trying to make rounds or a birth, in the case that happens. And Maddie lives out of home and she's found it really easy. In fact, she's actually bought a house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really easy if you have a partner to find rentals, like a very big stress, I know, for me, but finding a rental for us down here was actually not that bad. So if you need any tips with living out, we're really happy to share as well. And if you hear any noise, sorry, we're like at a conference because they give us free food for the med students, so we just popped out.
And there's everything that's happening in the Southwest. So there's constantly events, music, wine festivals, arts. It's brilliant. Can we have the next slide, please?
So the unique things about Busso to share is we have a pretty good tutorial schedule run by our MCs. So normally Monday will be a full day of prac, whatever block you're on. Tuesday we'll have an ARVO in surgery or obs and gyne tutorials with guest speakers. Wednesday, you have a half day for your scholarly activity, which is really nice to catch up on everything. And then ARVO will have a GP, ophthalm or ED shoot. Thursday, full day prac again, and Friday we do long case or procedural emergency skills in the morning, and then pediatrics or psychiatry shoots in the ARVO. So it's still mainly a rural generalism model in Busso, but you still get specialty experience as well, which we found really good because we go to Margaret River as well, and that's very rural generalist run.
In fact, if you flip over to the next slide, I think the towns that we visit. So it's really the best of the Southwest. We go to Margaret River. In fact, I was on ED in Margaret River today, but they had a surgery list on. So I just went in and popped into there, go to Augusta, Bunbury. You get to go to the prison, which is a fun placement, lots of interesting medicine. And then in Busselton, you spend the bulk of your time doing the ward, GP, pediatrics, maternity, ED, essentially everywhere. And it's a real good mix. Final slide.
So we have like a wide choose Busso. We love it and think it's the best mix of getting small, medium and large site experience. So if you like that mix, it'll be really good for you. We do rotate 1 to 2 week blocks at a time. So you'll start the start of the year and it'll be a bit of a steep learning curve, but by the middle and end, you've come around to stuff so often that you really build on it. And there's 13 of us this year, so it's really good. A lot of people to hang out with and you're sociable. There's the people have done, not us, but people have done the Ironman triathlon. We've been to the rodeos. Don't choose Busselton, and we can't stress this enough with the Southwest. It can be so easy to go home to Perth on the weekends if you're from there, but just don't do it. Like if you have a special event, do it. But you want to get involved in anything you can, and we all hang out on the weekends. So don't just use it as I'll do RCS, but I'll go back to Perth.
Yeah.
That's not making the most of it. And I'm sure Bunbury will also agree with us on that.
And it's really what you make of it. If you want to choose Busselton and you want to have a good time, you will have a good time. There's plenty of opportunities, no matter who you are and what you're interested in. And that's Busselton.
Thanks, team. We'll go back now to Bunbury. Have we got someone on call for Bunbury ready to talk?
So Olivia and I are going to be talking about Bunbury, which is obviously the best site on RCS. It's also called Funbury or Fun Vegas, you might have heard. So it has 16 students and it's the largest and oldest site. And there are 4 houses, so usually you can provide your own housing, but if you want to stay in RCS accommodation, there's 3 to 4 people in each house. We have an RCS office, which is really beautiful. You'll see kangaroos roaming around as you drive in, and it's combined with ECU, so you have an awesome library to actually study at, and it's walking distance to the hospital, which is really convenient. A little bit about the year. It's similar to a lot of the sites, but Bunbury, it's honestly so awesome because you get the small and the large site experience. So you get 3 to 4 weeks on each rotation, but because Collie has kind of been absorbed into Bunbury, you actually spend 3 to 4 weeks in Collie as well. So you get a taste of a small site. And lots of cool stuff. It focuses again on the rural generalism curriculum. So you get time in ED and in GP settings. And as everyone said, I think you can't go wrong with RCS and you get so much hands-on experience. I think Liv and I are actually ward partners, and we've gotten to do some pretty cool stuff in ED. People will come in with like a head laceration and you get to do some suturing. And I think the major perk is that Bunbury is one of those sites where you have wax interns and final year students. So everyone has gone through the process before you and is for that reason really invested in teaching you one-on-one. There's even a junior doctor training society and a medical education hub. But yeah, in ED, you get to do lots of airway management. We also get to catch lots of babies because we have specialist time. So we have 2 maternity wards and a lot of birth suites where you can catch lots of babies. And we actually spend a few nights. So you get time with the registrar one-on-one to teach you some topics, and the midwives will teach you lots as well. So it's a really good experience. And Bunbury is that site where it can manage a lot of the cases on its own, so you don't miss out on the good stuff. And you also get 3 weeks at the end of the year before exams, and there's lots of teaching in the outdoors.
Okay, I'm going to be telling you guys some of the fun and unique things about Bunbury. So as Trey just said, we absorbed the Collie site. So we get to go out to Collie. There's a beautiful house out there. You get to spend time in ED. There's surgery out there. The Collie River Valley Medical Centre, there's some amazing GPs that do a lot of teaching for us. As Bunbury's got one of the biggest groups of students, it's great if you're a social butterfly, but it's also great if you're an introvert because there's enough people that you will find somebody to be friends with. Bunbury is also kind of like the perfect distance from Perth and also just the rest of the southwest. Like if you wanted to, you could go to Margaret River for lunch, down to Busselton for the day. But if you need to go back to Perth, like an appointment or an event or whatever, it's also like right on your doorstep. It's just a straight line drive. Bunbury is amazing if you like being active. I've put lots of photos in there of like events that I've done down here this year. There's like a lot of trail and road running. There's so many fun local events that the community puts on. You're also really close to other places like Busselton if you're into like triathlons. We've got an amazing sports centre with a pool, lots of sports clubs. There's a really great local running club. We also have a brand new Revo Fitness, which is incredible. And I think all of us go there, and on any given day, you'll see half of the hospital staff there as well. There's kangaroos and possums at the RCS office, which I just love. They're really cute. The Bunbury Farmers Market, I don't know, I feel like I don't need to explain that one. If you haven't been, you should go. And we also have an amazing final year cohort down here. They put on mock OSCEs for us. They provide a lot of moral support, tips and tricks. They're just like an amazing resource, as well as all of the junior doctors. I think most of the interns down here actually did RCS in Bunbury for 3rd and or 4th year. Yeah, can we have the next slide, please?
Cool. So I guess the summary, why you should choose Bunbury, it's 2 for the price of 1. So you're getting massive, well-rounded exposure. It's got a very, very nice hospital, and it's still small, so you see familiar faces who are really kind and willing to help you out at any given time around, and just really supportive and passionate staff. I can't stress enough, I think on all the sites, the RCS staff really take care of you, and it can be daunting to go out, but I think it's the best way to, certainly I think it's the best decision I made to spend my year in Bunbury.
Yeah, in terms of like a couple of other pros, one of the houses down here has a pool. That's the house that I'm living in. It's amazing. Yeah, the hospital is like literally 5 minutes away from everything. It's brand new. And I just think it's like one of the more well-rounded sites. I mean, all of the sites are amazing and I'm very biased, but it's a big site, so you get a lot of exposure. Small enough that you can't get lost. People will always be there, recognize that you're a student, let you have a go. And we get a lot of pathologies that probably bypass some of the smaller sites, but they can be managed in Bunbury. So we just get amazing exposure. But yeah, that's Bunbury. You guys should come here.
Cool.
Thanks so much for your time. Alrighty, I'll hand it over to our Warren Blackwood students.
I'm Charlotte, and I wanted to answer the question that I definitely had first when I got this site is where the heck is Warren Blackwood? So we live in Manjimup, which is 3.5 hours south of Perth, which I would say is the perfect distance. It's a small town. It feels like you're really in the country, but it's a nip home if you need to. We also do prac in Bridgetown, which is unique to the Warren Blackwood site. So we go to 2 hospitals, and they're both small, wonderful rural generalist run hospitals. There's 6 of us with 2 houses and 2 cars, which is the best ratio of any site. So we really don't burn much fuel here, which is massive in the current economy. Next slide, please. Unique things about here, we are small hospitals and they are really underrated. We usually only have 1 doctor on at a time, which means that you're the next doctor, basically. So you'll often be working up patients by yourself, and then, you know, when you find yourself at a point where you don't really know what to do next, then you get the doctor, you present to them, and you just get so much independent work, but in a really supported way. So it's really amazing for that. So we get a lot of ED time, which is awesome. We also get to travel a lot, and that is really the best of all worlds. So we go to Bunbury, we go to Busselton, we go to Albany, we go to Derby. This year was, I think, unique for that, but quick shout out to Derby as well. That is an amazing site, super unique as well. So yeah, small hospital, you're first in line for cannulas, for plasters, for sutures, for like anything. And that is pretty special. Next one, please. Why you should choose to come here. It is beautiful. We're in the deep Karri forest. Our site staff are genuinely the best. We have amazing teaching. They are super chill. They always have our backs on anything we need help with. As I said, we're the perfect distance from Perth. You still feel like a really small country town. I feel like I'm at the point in the year where I'm really recognizing people on the street, which is just like, cool. I've never lived in a country town, so it's really special to feel like you start to really know everyone around you. We have fruit trees in our back garden. There's so much fresh produce here. There's farm stores on the side of the roads. It's amazing. The doctors are so excited to teach you, and there's just lots of silly small town stuff like the Speedway, lawn bowls, quiz nights, agricultural shows, got the horse trots, theatre productions from the school kids. There's just lots of fun stuff. So I would say this is a hidden gem of a site. Not many people consider it, and to be honest, I didn't, but I am so happy to be here, and I would definitely recommend you have a think about it. Thanks.
Alrighty, our final student presentation for the evening before our breakout room sessions. We're going to hear from Ardi and Sarah in Albany. Ardi and Sarah, let me know when you are ready to present.
We're ready to go.
We're ready.
Wonderful. Thanks, team. Off you go.
Okay. So hi, everyone. My name's Ardi, and this is...
I'm Sarah.
And I think Ash actually has chosen the best for last. So we're representing Albany for the Great Southern Region. So we'll start with an acknowledgement of country. We acknowledge the Gurang, Kanang, Menang, Wadjari, and Wirloman people as the traditional custodians of the land and waters of the Great Southern Region. And we pay respects to the past, present, and emerging. Next slide. So for those of you that don't know where Albany is, it's 4.5 hours south of Perth, and it's home to the 2nd largest regional hospital in WA. It combines a breadth of clinical exposure with an amazing lifestyle and a genuinely welcoming community. What makes Albany very unique is that you get the benefits of a large regional centre while still experiencing the hands-on and close-knit rural environment that makes RCS very special. To talk more about the clinical aspects, we get rotations delivered in dedicated blocks, which allow you to immerse yourselves in each specialty rather than constantly switching between disciplines. So that gives you a much greater depth of exposure and continuity with the teams. So we get a lot of specialty exposure here, but specifically emergency medicine, surgery, internal medicine, psychiatry, pediatrics, ONG, and ophthalmology, amongst many.
So there's a lot of differences between the sites in terms of how GP is run, how the placements are run. But one of the things we love about Albany is that we get GP 1 day a week for 6 months over the whole year. So that means that we can sort of follow our patients' journeys over a long time. Also, we have outreach experiences with GP. So some of the students opt into doing their GP term once a week in Mount Barker or Denmark. And similarly, we have lots of outreach opportunities through Great Southern Aboriginal Health Service. So that's our dedicated Aboriginal Country Controlled Health Service. So through at the GSAHS, we can go to Kojana, Ngunngurup, Mount Barker, and more.
Next slide. So I think Albany really speaks for itself through some of the pictures we'll have today. But outside of medicine, it's a really amazing place to live a wholesome life. The community is incredibly welcoming, and there's a very vibrant social scene with many of us involved in social sports, choirs and orchestras, quiz nights, junior doctor events. A lot of us work at local pubs and cafes. And on the weekends, you can also go camping, go to festivals, road trips to your rodeo, and yeah, really explore the nature that's world-class here in Albany, which we're very lucky to have. Next slide. Some more pictures of the beautiful Great Southern. So this is us exploring King George Sound during the Lighting the Sound event this year, a light show and some amazing sunsets at different places here in Albany. And yeah, it's been really special with the community coming close for you know, a lot of events, and yeah, it's just been really amazing.
And you guys were talking about how amazing it is to be somewhere where it's always summer. Well, if you really like the winter and you like to be nice and cozy, and a sort of like Christmas in July kind of vibes, and definitely Albany is the place to be.
Yeah.
So one thing that surprised many of us was just how involved students become clinically. I think this was talked about through all of the sites, and it's so true for Albany as well. The hospital community is super social, so we find ourselves going out, having coffee, having dinner, drinks with junior doctors and medical students and allied health professionals at the hospital as well. We all run into each other at the cafe, and it's such a social scene. It's really nice to connect with everyone. And then, yeah, we also see one another around at the farmers markets and local cafes and stuff. So yeah, it's a small town. Also, a surprise that we realized when we came here that there are only roundabouts in town. There's one set of traffic lights. So there is a way to use roundabouts, and you have to make sure you don't mess it up.
So next slide. Thank you. So if we haven't already convinced you, I think the reasons why you should choose Albany is because you get a lot of strong clinical exposure, including getting a wide range of specialties, but there's a lot of resident specialists that stay down here as well. So we actually can spend more one-on-one time if we want to. And we have some amazing MCs and clinical staff here, and they're so understanding. And Ash actually is also here in Albany, so we're very lucky to have her. But also you get an incredible lifestyle balance. A lot of us just say we could live here for life.
So that photo on the right is just our campus where we sit and study and do our tutorials. And you can just sit at the cafe and watch the campus as well, which is nice. So this is really the kind of place where the students are known personally, and they're supported academically and socially, and we really grow in confidence. And that is thanks to the staff at the hospital, but in particular, our amazing MCs on site. So as Adi said, a lot of the doctors who come here in third year stay for fourth year and become interns here. And it is testament to the amazing place that Albany is.
Next slide. So we just want to say thank you, everyone. We hope we've convinced you to pick Albany, not only with what we've said, but I'm sure by the pictures you've seen today too. Good luck to everyone that's applying.
Thanks, Sarah. Thanks, Adi. And thank you to all of our student presenters tonight.